it's something we were talking about. This was weeks ago. We were actually talking about this, and it's probably kind of relates to that. There is, so see the way in movies, you mentioned that, so obviously you've watched loads of movies over your life, watched the James Bond movies with that, and it's always like the kind of character at their best, or they're always the best dressed. And even away from James Bond, if you look at like Mad Men, Peaky Blinders, even general like gangster movies, just to stick with like males first of all, they're always the best dressed with that. And no one will disagree with the fact that most people look the best when they're in a suit, or in a formal wear, or in some kind of tailoring with that. That's the big events, that's how they look good with that. And you always look at the older movies and you think like, would they dress like that all the time? Or, you know, people just dress like that. There was no such thing as like casual wear, like sitting in like trackies or going to like the shops in your pyjamas, which I've seen last week. That wasn't a thing. Yeah. But nowadays you don't really see. It's like, if you look best in a suit, then why don't you wear a suit all the time? You probably do. Like,
so to be fair, my wife would say that, yeah. I think, unfortunately, I work with our boss who's been with the company for 50 years, but he hasn't been in retail all these days, and I won't embarrass him by telling his age, but he talks about this a lot, and we talk about, you look at Peaky Blinders, obviously back in the 20s and the 30s, and they were all wearing suits. He's like, but that was like, it wasn't until, I think he said, was it the 60s or 70s, maybe 70s, like menswear was clothes to be warm in. They weren't to look good. So you had your tweed suit, but that was a pair of slack trousers to put on, and you had leggings probably underneath to keep warm, with a t-shirt and a shirt and a tie. It was just to look smart, but it was more clothing. And then I think the invention of the boutiques in the shop, so these were back in the 70s and 80s when the high street, there was high streets, and there was influences from Europe and things like that coming in. There was more education to males and females, but males, so they could actually now wear clothes to look smart. And then you had nightclubs and you had bars and you had all this, so it kind of developed from there into what we have now. Sadly, the high streets in a bad way, but people now, as you said, they've got joggers to just chill in. Suits are now an occasion wear more than anything, bar the odd time. I mean, there was the running joke is it's a wedding or court you're getting a suit for, you know. Exactly. So I think that's been the way it's been going on for years. But it's always strange. That one when you put on a suit. I don't care what it says. You put a suit on that fits you well. There isn't much, especially in males. It is the best feeling.